So you want to know why I think this microphone is the best to get when you do podcasts, YouTube voiceovers, broadcasting, or just recording vocals? Stay tuned. Guitar freaks and anoraks, lovers of the better sound equipment, welcome to Hilko Guitar's YouTube channel. Thanks for tuning in. Before I start, I would like to do a brief introduction about myself. My name is Hilko. I'm the maker of fine guitars, boutique guitars. Brand is Hilko Guitars. Over 20 years, I toured the world for bands as a guitar technician. Quite recently, I decided to make more YouTube videos, and I needed a good sounding microphone for this purpose. So I started to do a research. As a guitar technician, I know how to record guitars, but I don't know how to record vocals. So I sent out some emails to sound engineers I know, and they all replied in pretty much the same language. They said, get the best microphone you can afford. Get a quality one, get a famous brand one. You won't regret it. It will last you a lifetime, they said. So I went online. I checked out a lot of YouTube videos about microphones. I Googled a lot of stuff about microphones. So I did a lot of research. And I had a budget, which is quite important if you want to start looking. If you start looking at microphones, you need to know what you want to spend or what you can spend. You want to spend maybe a lot of money. Well, you don't want to spend a lot of money. The cheaper, the better. My budget was €1,000. I think that's $1,100 for a microphone and an interface. So the interface I got was the Audient ID4. And the microphone is the RE27ND. That's my choice. And I'm going to explain you why. But before I do that, maybe it's a good idea to see what Electro Voice says about this microphone. If you go online, you can find sheets and stuff, information about the microphone. And it says the Electro Voice RE27ND is a broadcast announcer microphone with variable D technology. Well, to start off with variable D technology, well, first of all, I'm not gonna bore you with technical details. There is a lot of people that go in depth about the technical details about microphones. I will leave some video links below from other YouTubers that can explain this really good. So I'm not gonna bore you with technical details, or I'm gonna try not to bore you with technical details. I'm gonna try to explain this in human language, in normal people language. So here we go. Variable D. Variable D technology minimalizes the proximity effect. Now, what is the proximity effect? The distance that you use on a microphone is pretty important. Some microphones, like condenser microphones, they tend to engage the proximity effect when you come closer with your mouth. So now I'm really up close to the microphone, and I don't think you will hear a tonal change in my voice. With other microphones, when you get up really close, the sound of your voice will be more bassy, and the tone will change when you move about the microphone. The distance will vary and the tone will change. You don't have that with this microphone, or it minimalizes this. So no proximity effect, no really bass sound when you get really up close. The second thing is the ND stands for neodymium magnet. Well, a neodymium magnet is a hotter magnet. A magnet that is hotter than used in other microphones. A hotter magnet will produce a higher output from the microphone. So you don't have to crack up the preamp's gain all the way up, and you get a hiss you can hear the hiss. If you do that, if you whack up the preamp from your interface, if you whack it up all the way, you will start hearing hiss and some noise coming from the preamp. So you want to keep it below 80%, I think. So you don't have to do that with microphone because it's got a really hot magnet. which is really cool. It's an ultra flat frequency response microphone. So um, it's very, it doesn't color a lot. It doesn't color your sound a lot. That's what that wants to say. It's got 3 filters built in. Now, those filters, I don't use them. I keep everything flat, and I do all the tweaking of my tone, of my voice in post-production. But if you want to know what the switches do, I'll try to explain it to you very briefly and very simple. So the first switch is the high frequency roll-off. The high frequency roll-off is this switch. And it can be great if you have a higher pitched voice than mine, or you suffer from a sibilance effect. So the sound of the S can be really harsh sometimes. So if you activate that switch, it can help a lot. So the middle switch, when you engage the middle switch, it will sound a bit weird on a voice, I think. It's been used, or it's been put it in there to use on kick drums or bass guitars, and it rolls off some mid frequency. And then the third switch is the bass roll off. It's a good EQ if you record in noisy environments, like if you got a lot of rumble, low frequency rumble around you when you're recording. That can get rid of that. So that's the 3 switches. Again, down below, video links, and people will explain, and they will, fiddle about with them. But you can do some EQing on the microphone. You don't have to do it in post-production. So that can be helpful for some people, I think. The RE27ND microphone is a bright microphone, and it's got a lot of high-end clarity, which is great, I think. So almost no proximity effect and 3 EQ filters. Some history from Electro Voice, a brief history. They started out in 1927, I believe, with fixing stuff for radio stations or radio equipment. And then later they started making portable PA systems. They started making microphones. They won a lot of stuff with their microphones. The RE20, it looks like this one, but it is a green microphone. It is also a classic. It came out late 1960s, I believe. Shoot me when I'm wrong. But I think it came out late 1960s, and since then it's been used all over the world in radio broadcasts and for kick drums and for loads of other applications. But then 1980s, late 1980s, they came out with the bigger brother of the RE20, the RE27ND. Slightly more expensive, slightly different sounding. It sounds brighter. If you got a high-pitched voice or a higher-pitched voice than mine, I would recommend checking out the RE20. But anyways, there are a lot of users of this microphone. Martin Luther King, I Have a Dream, is recorded with an Electro Voice microphone. The Beatles used an Electro Voice microphone. Elvis, you can find footage Elvis using an Electro Voice microphone. Then Stevie Wonder, he uses the RE20, or he used the RE20 a lot on his vocal. And then Radiohead Tom York used this microphone a couple of times in the studio, or a few times, or he uses it a lot. There's many artists that are using this microphone. That's my number one reason that I wanted to try this microphone. So I did a lot of research, and a few weeks ago I was at the Frankfurt Music Messe. That's a big show with musical equipment, recording equipment, and Electro Voice had a booth there. And I bumped into the people that are doing the distribution of Electro Voice in the Benelux. So I asked them about this microphone. I said, what's up with that RE27ND? Is it really that good? Because I see that a lot of people are raving about it. And they said, yeah. A lot of people are using it. It's been used all over the world in radio stations. It's a very popular microphone, and we're still making it. And I said, I'm really curious how it sounds on my voice. And they said, well, we're going to send you one over and you give it a try and give it some feedback. So they did, and I checked it out thoroughly. And I really did like it. I really, really liked it. It's crisp and clear, the microphone, when you record the voice with it. It's really easy to handle in post-production. So if you want to tweak the sound of your voice, it's very easy to tweak it in post-production, and you still have the clarity and definition of your voice. Another reason is, again, this microphone is being used all over the world in broadcast situations. So most of you have listened to the radio, I believe. Let me know if you never listened to a radio station in your life. Please let me know. So most of you have listened to a radio, and most likely you have heard this microphone on the radio. And if you use this microphone recording your vocal, your listener's subconsciousness will pick up that tone. The tone will remind them of something. Well, it will be this microphone. You will sound like a professional radio station when using this mic. And therefore, you will sound professional, which is a good thing, I think. Now, this dynamic mic is great when you don't have a sound booth, or you don't have much sound treatment in your room. I have some, but not much. And I tell you why. So if you talk, sound waves form, and they start travel through the air, and they will bounce back from walls, like the wall behind me. With a dynamic mic, it's a good thing that you're like a couple of inches away, pretty up close to the microphone. So I was talking about those sound waves traveling through the air and bouncing off walls. Well, they want to bounce back from that wall behind me into the microphone. But my big head is in front of this microphone. So the spillage, or the sound waves bouncing back from the wall behind me, they don't get into this microphone. They get to the back of my head, and they get rejected from the microphone, which is really cool. If I move my mouth to the side, you will hear that the level or the noise will go down, the noise I am producing. So let's do that. I'm talking into the microphone, and I'm moving my head over to the side of the microphone, to the side of the microphone, to the left side of the microphone. I'm talking now. And now I'll go to the right of the microphone, and I will even go to the back of the microphone. Hello, the back of the microphone. As you can hear, it doesn't pick up a lot of my voice, which is great. For instance, if you're typing on a keyboard, when you're talking and you're typing on a keyboard, the microphone will not pick that up that much. The same thing is when you're in a broadcast situation, when there is somebody sitting opposite you. He's talking, his voice will not spill over in this microphone, which is a great thing. I did bought a condenser tube microphone from an Australian brand, and I tried that at first. But I had the same problem. The spillage of all the sound around me was getting into the microphone, and some of the recordings were unuseful. I don't have that with this microphone. This microphone has got a built-in pop filter and wind stopper or windscreen. So the popping sounds that you can produce when you say the letter P, or the wind, it will stop. Normally with a condenser microphone, with a condenser microphone, you always need one of these. It's not to catch flies. It's to put it in front of the microphone, so the popping noises from the letter P are not getting captured, or are not that harsh in the microphone. But if you have a thing like that in front of you and want to talk to somebody, or you want to read something from a paper, it's blocking your view. This thing has got a pop filter built in, which is great. It's a stunning looking microphone. Um, I love the looks of this microphone. It's a classic look. It makes, if you record with this and you film yourself, it will make you look sexy. I think. No, it makes you look good. It's a cool looking microphone. The microphone is built like a tank. So if you ever drop this mic, never drop a microphone, please. Try not to drop a microphone. But if you do, it will survive it, I think. You don't have that with plastic microphone. This is a metal casing. It feels really solid and rigid, and yeah, I think it's a quality thing. It's really cool. Yeah, the sound is crisp and clear. I mentioned that. If you wish to tweak your voice in post-production, you can easily do that without changing, without losing definition a lot. It doesn't use a huge amount of preamp gain. I mentioned that before as well, I think. There's other microphones, other broadcast industry standards from other brands that you can buy. It's black. It's something, the SM7B. But if you buy it, it's slightly cheaper than this microphone. But if you buy it, you have to buy a cloud lifter if you don't have a proper preamp. It's a cheaper mic, but you have to add another thing to get more gain out of the microphone. It's too quiet if you use it in a normal interface or in a cheaper interface like this. The Electro Voice is producing these mics for like decades, and they're still around, they're still being produced, and it's beautiful. Now the cons, it doesn't come with a shock mount. Okay. Maybe I have to get a shock mount because I've got wooden floors, and if I do this, you will hear it in the mic. So maybe I want to get a shock mount. But that's okay, At least it works like this. But I know I don't have to stamp my feet on the floor, so you won't hear that. It's more expensive than a USB mic. Yes, it's more expensive than a USB mic, but I wouldn't get a USB mic because a USB mic is, in my eyes, a waste of money. You get a USB mic for a few $100 or a few €100. And a USB mic has got an interface, a USB interface built into the microphone. If you ever want to upgrade, you can't change the interface in the microphone. You have to get another microphone and the interface. And then that's a waste of money, I think. I think you're better off biting the bitter pill and spend some money on a proper microphone, an okay interface, and start with that. If I want to upgrade my interface, I get rid of the interface, I get a new one, a more expensive one. Bam, I keep the microphone. You can't do that with a USB microphone. It uses an XLR cable, but you can pick them up cheap. So, talking of XLR cables, my signal path. Maybe you want to know how I record the vocals, and that's very easy. It's the RE27ND. It's an XLR cable going into the Audient ID4, going into my computer, and I've got GarageBand. And there my settings are vocals, no effects, that's it. Then after in post-production, I use Channel IQ. Then I use a Logic compressor and an adaptive limiter, all in Final Cut Pro X. You don't have to do that. I will let you hear a non-processed part, so just talking into the microphone, into the interface, into GarageBand with no effects. And I enable all those crazy EQ stuff and all that. If you want to know more about EQing and post-processing, well, a bit more, leave a comment down below and I'll try to explain it to you. So, more cons. I can't think of any more cons. This is a really nice microphone. If you're looking for a microphone to buy that lasts you a long time or even a lifetime, if you look after it, look into this stuff. If your voice if you got a higher pitched voice, look into the RE20, or if you don't have the budget to buy this microphone, look into the RE320. That's a really nice microphone for a very acceptable price. Please look into it. A huge thank you to Equipment Solutions partner Belgium for letting me try this microphone. I'm really sold. Thank you so much. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Peace out. Hope to see you next time.